The average realtor sells about 4 homes per year. I'm Chad Smith, and this is The Real Solution. For 17 years in a row, we've grown our business regardless of what was happening in the market. Collectively, we've sold over 7,000 homes in our careers, and we consistently sell over $100 million in volume per year. Most real estate coaching and training is taught by someone who either never operated at the top level or they used to be a top producer in a different market. But the difference at The Real Solution is that we are still in the game. We know what it takes to adapt, grow, and build a real estate business without sacrificing the things that matter most. In today's market, how you think and the strategies you employ matter more than ever before. If you're a real estate agent and you're struggling in this crazy seller's market, and you want to find out what you're missing and learn what it takes to get an offer accepted in this market, we've created a 7-step process to get an offer accepted in this market. And we've got the evidence to prove that it works. Go to myofferaccepted.com to find out what it takes to win in this market. Go to myofferaccepted.com. If you look at the number of homes that are selling per year in the country right now versus the number of agents that have their license active, then the average realtor sells about 4 homes per year. And there are many reasons why that's the case, but I'm going to focus on one in this video, and that really it boils down to consistency and consistently doing the right actions. So let me just break down what we've built and the way that we work around this to get out of our own way and to make sure that we do the right things every day that generate results and generate sales and create a culture of productivity so that we do the right things and we don't ride what we call the real estate roller coaster, where you have a big month here and then a couple months where nothing happens and then another okay month and then a couple more months where nothing happens. And it's all just kind of random. And if you're an independent contractor and you're not getting a salary, you're not earning a consistent income, it can wreak havoc on your mindset and on your key relationships if you're married. And it's just really tough for a lot of agents because things are great and then things are terrible and then they're great and then they're terrible. And it's like we said, it's a real estate roller coaster. And here is the way that we have built consistency into our business. This is the formula we use. Here's the secret. All right, to begin with, this meeting starts at 8:30 sharp. If you're not in our building before 8:30, we lock the door and we post a sign on the door that says, meeting in progress, doors open at 9:15. So this meeting lasts from 8:30 to 9:15. Now, as a leader, my job is to start the meeting at 8:30. I've met a lot of leaders over my years in real estate, and they never started a meeting on time. Now, the second thing is, as a leader, you got to stop at 9:15. So if you can't figure out how to boil down what you need to say between 8:30 and 9:15, that's poor leadership. If you just ramble and ramble and ramble because you like listen to yourself talk, that's leadership that only certain people will follow, and top talent will leave you because you're not concise and you don't know how to get to the point. All right, so what does this meeting look like? Well, number one, we've got to work on our language of real estate. And we developed something that we call the conversation matrix. So this is unique to The Real Solution. Basically, the conversation matrix are the different points of conversation, all the little things that need to be covered, whether you're talking to a family member, a friend, sphere of influence, or an expired listing for sale by owner or internet lead. So we have the I, which stands for your introduction. You're going to have an introduction depending on who it is you're talking to. B stands for the behavioral profile. And we have an account with Abelson, so we typically use the DISC format. And so you have your D, which is your driver, your I, which is your influencer, your S, which is your steady systems person, and your C, which is your compliant, accurate, details-oriented person. And as a side note, 65%, 2/3 of the population out there lead with their S, which means you need to understand, if you're going to be able to communicate with a lot of people, how to really get on the level with an S and make sure that you're communicating with them the way they prefer to be communicated with. After the B, we have the M3. This stands for their motivation. You don't want to be a pushy salesperson. You're not going to have a big career if you come across as a pushy salesperson. And so by going 3 levels deep into someone's motivation and making sure that they know that you understand them, that's the secret to really making the business about your client and putting their interests above yours. After M3, we've got Q. They may be highly motivated, but if they're not qualified, you're going to waste a bunch of time trying to help people that can't actually do anything. So Q is where you qualify. After that, you want to deliver your unique value proposition followed with your track record. And you want to deliver your track record, if you've got one, in such a way that you don't sound like you're bragging. Your track record demonstrates that you have proficiency, you're professional, and that you know how to get the job done in this market. After your value proposition and your track record, I recommend that you establish that you're a consultant, not a pushy salesperson. A consultant is someone that listens, understands, and makes sure to give all the facts, information, and market data that the client needs to make a sound business decision. I also recommend that you explain that you're separated from the outcome. So if you're doing the right things in real estate every single day that you work, then you're working to find motivated, qualified people every day, so you don't have to push people into listing their home when it's not in their best interest, or trying to sell them a home that is not in their best interest. You're separated from the outcome, meaning you're not pushing them to do something today if it's not in their best interest. So you explain to them, I'm in the business to build a long-time, mutually beneficial relationship. So it doesn't matter today, Mr. and Mrs. Seller or Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, whether we do something today, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, it doesn't matter. I'm just here to help you when the time is right. The next in our conversation matrix is the OH, which is dealing with all their objections. So the idea here is that you identify and isolate their objection, overcome the objection, and then the C, the final piece of the conversation matrix, is closing and asking for the appointment. So you can see this acronym system, our conversation matrix, helps us. We've helped people learn how to have professional real estate conversations in less than 6 months and like spring shot ahead of people that have been in the business for 3 to 5 years. This is a great framework, and we practice it every single weekday of the year, Monday through Friday at 8:30. We hit 8:30 and somebody says, yes, I'm calling about the home at 123 Main Street. Well, great. My name's Chad Smith. I'm a real estate professional in the area. How are you? And then we go straight into it. We also take notes on this. We give constructive feedback. We show people what they're doing well. Then we show them what their opportunities are. We work to have at least 3 to 5 objections that the caller or the agent has to overcome. And then we end with an appointment. So we end with the positive. Then in our meeting, so we have our script practice and role play with our conversation matrix first. After that, we will typically deal with some sort of a market of the moment issue. So this year we've been looking at mortgage rates. Over the last several years, we would talk about how to overcome the iBuyer scenario, right? Whatever is going on in the market, we actively work to find solutions for that challenge. Then the final piece, so we've got our script practice and role play, then we've got our market of the moment. The final piece of our morning meeting is gratitude. Gratitude is massive. It's one of our core values. You're either in gratitude or you're not. And when you have a culture that's full of gratitude, and what is gratitude? Gratitude is being focused on the things that you do have instead of being focused on the things that you don't have. There are always things that could be better in a business. Why? Because businesses are made up of people, and people are not perfect. There are always systems that could be better, leads that could be higher quality, systems that don't talk to each other. There's always things that are a little bit broken. There are always people in an organization. Some people are up. Some people are going through some challenges. Some people are feeling healthy. Some people are going through a health issue. Some people, everything's perfect at home. Some people, things are a little bit challenging at home and they're working through them. There are all these things constantly going on, but a culture of gratitude constantly saying, I'm grateful that these things are happening in my life. I'm grateful for so-and-so on the team that did this for me, even though they didn't need to. I'm grateful for this closing. I'm grateful for these clients. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful I live in the United States. I'm grateful for this career. I'm grateful, and you just go down the list. So we charge our culture and our environment with gratitude before we end that meeting. Then we end at 9:15 sharp and we break. Now, if everybody just went after the 9:15 break and they do nothing, this really isn't worth it. What really matters now that we spent 45 minutes working on our business, sharpening our skills and the way we communicate through the conversation matrix, right? Learning about the market of the moment, getting our mindset right with gratitude. What matters now is that we kick the doing in and we actually go work in our business. And there's a whole framework for that too. Let me walk you through it. How many people are you calling every day? How many calls did you make, right? This is a KPI. This is one of your metrics to track. How many calls did you make? How much time did you spend talking to them? All right. How many appointments did you set? How many appointments that you set are actually held? Out of the appointments that are held, how many listing agreements and buyer representation agreements are actually taken? And then out of those listings that are taken, how many sell? And out of the buyer representation agreements signed, how many of those buyers go under contract? And then out of the listings and the buyers that go under contract, how many fall out and how many actually close? And then how many referrals are you getting from those? At any point through that list of all of those different trackable numbers, if you're actually doing those things and I track them, I can easily help you overcome a gap if we're tracking the numbers. So we have all of this down. I flew around the country for a couple years, spending time with people that were ahead of me, and we built out this entire system. If you're naturally a good salesperson, you probably don't want to take the time to go build all of those systems and track them all. If you'd like to set up a strategy call where I could show you a couple different ways you could get access to those types of tracking metrics, just go to realsolutioncall.com and I'll be happy to help you.